Good morning, all. Hope everyone had a good and restful night. We're seeing more of what we saw last night. Continuation, and we went through those charts, what to expect, and the likely outcomes, the way it bounced back, particularly on the S&P and oil. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. We see them significantly higher. As far as fair value goes, we're up over 58 handles on the S&P. The 10-year note is around 1.44%. The yen is up 17. The Australian dollar is the strongest currency after the RBA meeting last night, and you can find that on the website, all about that. As Omicron continues to have reduced concerns and just doubts around the world about the fear of it. Plus, you get FOMO, don't forget, in futures markets. So you've got a little bit of that, perhaps a little bit of short selling. There was so much put buying on Friday. News-wise, we have the jobs numbers coming up for the United States. And also labor costs and productivity. The main things, you can find them again here. We'll put them on. Apple is up again, another 1.9%. It was another upgrade, this time by Morgan Stanley. Eyes will be on President Putin of Russia and American President Biden meeting. Ukraine's obviously going to be a bit of a discussion point on that one. Other talk, there was mention yesterday, Intel was up while other semis were down. Well, it turns out someone knew what was going on. They announced overnight a planned IPO of their Mobileye unit, which remember they bought a number of years back. There's a number of other ratings actions to talk about. We will leave that in the note. Oil futures continue to move higher, and as earlier mentioned, shorter dated Treasury securities continuing to see selling. Big news overnight that also helped it was the People's Bank of China lowered the amount of cash that banks have to hold as reserve, releasing a total of 1.2 trillion yuan. Yuan, I should say. Let's move on to what we're seeing on charts. So we'll start off with the S&P on the hourly. Here's that big move yesterday. Just continued higher after that failed double bottom. We mentioned this, broke over the cloud. We talked about yesterday in the trading room about all the gamma levels above here. We tested overnight 4,600, where a lot of guys supposedly had interest. Not much to see. Here we are at 4,650. Again, this is the big thing. I've been harping on for a number of weeks about Tank and Sand. This is the first time we haven't sold off it. Probably good thing we were sleeping, right? So let's see if that can hold. Then go back to look at your charts we walked through on Sunday, I believe, and you can see the ABC potential of that. We went through the Murray maths and everything. So that's your quick look at that. What we want to spend, given we spend a lot of time trading oil, look what we've done. We're up well over $10 now from those lows, those panic lows, down at $62 on WTI. On the hourly, very clear what happened. And look at this, Tank and Sand. Big spit action down here. And you can see it got down to the cage. And that's, if you look at the NASDAQ longer term, this made those NASDAQs much more powerful than the one we've just seen. If you recall yesterday, NASDAQ had only recovered on the tank. And here we are with the cage on this. So this is oil. Again, this is big support right now, right? So what's that price action? And you can see what's useful with the cloud. It gave an indication that it should be rallying. We'll have a quick look at daily on that. And there we go. And if you see daily, remember what that was. That was 08 down here. And through the tank and on the daily. So That's not unlike what we're seeing up here, is it, on the S&P? Similar moves. The cloud, we had a flat cloud and a flattening Cajun, which has worked out as a magnet. That's 73.80 potentially. We have the API number out tonight after the close, and we have the Department of Energy number tomorrow. In between, we have, as I said, Putin and Biden talking. So you have Biden representing, I guess, Texas with oil, if you want to look at it that way, and then Putin representing Russia on oil. But the big thing with Ukraine is natural gas, and so that should be a topic of discussion there. Now, if we look at oil through the day, what we look at, and a few guys in the trading room that you will see about on Twitter or in there, these are some of the levels we look at. You can see here what we've done since yesterday, right? We've just rallied. Here's that push me, pull you I was talking about on Cajun and on Tenkan on this 10-minute chart. And you can see we've pretty well followed the Tenkan all the way up till this morning. And looking here, this is a plus 4.8 up here at over 71, which is the high. And you can see a speed of the right here, the chi cap. Now, this hasn't recalculated because of the slow grind, but think of plus 4.8 as a recalc and 8.8. Same mathematical. We've come down, we've retested what was R1. So if you're familiar with the pivots, we look at R1. We look at the pivot, obviously R1, R2, S1, S3. There's slightly different ways of calculating this. We do it on a global, and we'll get on later. Some of the people you may be familiar with that trade pivots. The man you know as Hap is one of the best at this. Perhaps I can talk him into popping in one day. We've come down. We tested and broke the 50 here, and we've come back to trade right at it, which is also the Tenkan sand. I'm going to watch all this confluence through the day to see if it gives us another bout up or we roll over. Downside, look what we got. The pivot, which is this bright pink, is all the way down here. That's because yesterday was such an outside move. So I don't think this is going to be useful to us today, though you never know. Keep it in mind. So it's going to be more concise to look at the grid levels, right? On your Murray and your cloud. On the top side, you have R1 here. Same thing as far as the pivot so far away. R2 is, what's that at? 72.80. So you have possibility of that. That explains a higher volatility. As far as natural gas goes overnight, look what we got here. We finally got some relief down here on the 10-minute chart. We're right at the Tenkan sand. We got down to 360. Just under 360. Go back and look at the report out on the weekly, and you can see the levels there and how significant they are on the weekly and daily. This is all to do with weather and unleashing of massive. There was put selling on the way up when every man and his dog was bullish, right? There wasn't a hedger, it seems. And you can see one more time here. This is a 60-minute chart. So on natural gas. And you can see what we're poised. We're positioned, if you're a bull, ABC, right? Call out all an A. This a B. And if you can get through all this noise here, and this is an hourly, on the Tenkan, Cajun, and 50 all here, a lot of energy if it gets through. That's your top side. Your bearish count would be, this should be a very sharp ABC fall, and we fall from there. So just respect your levels. Look at the grid. Again, very wide, just like the oil one. And let's have a quick look at the 5-minute here on S&P. Very similar. So look at that room there, and we're all so by the time we've got to the US, a lot of things seem to be hard at the tank and sand. That means balance has been found on a lot of things, right? So keep that in mind. Um, Not much else to report. Most things what we're talking about you will find throughout the website, or different members that are in and out of the room today will be on their Twitters, um, looking to see more and more what you want. Have a great day, and I think we've pretty well covered everything. As far as Europe goes, Europe is all up. DAX is up the most there with the French, the CAC being the French index, DAX being the German. Overnight, Hong Kong was up 2.7%, Shanghai was barely up 0.2%, and the Nikkei was up a solid 1.9%. Gold and silver were hanging around flatline last time I looked. Oil's the big one, up 2%. Have a wonderful day, and hit us up on the socials, either Traders.com, or you can hit NovaWave up, Markets for Mayhem. We saw Julie yesterday, and I'll put everyone's socials, Madavi. If you have interest in, everyone's a little bit different, horses for courses, and have a wonderful trading day. Thank you.